Here.
Just a moment. That should.
Yeah, okay.
Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Here we go. All right. So.
Why am I not seeing? Why am I not seeing?
Maybe you need to cut to
Why am I not seeing?
Zoom screen as the.
Maybe you need to cut to the. Muted this audio. Mute.
Okay, there we go.
Wait.
It's got a little silly last time
no,
with K2. Yeah.
It's a friggin' replay. Where is it? No, it's live.
That's live?
Oh,
yeah, I mean...
I am not good at this.
Let me see now. Is it? Maybe that is a replay. Yeah, it's a replay, Dan. Or no. It's not. It's about like 15 seconds behind, so it's hard to tell. These are for those of you who are tuning in for some insane reason right now. We are in the middle of troubleshooting the beginning of the show, as has been our wont for the past two. We got it right once. Once.
Once.
Yes. Well, I mean, right off the stop, with the camera's
weirdness
rolling.
happening.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening anymore.
No one knows. Can't you?
I'm scared.
Can't you, like, share the Zoom screen or something? Isn't that what you did last time? Or
well, yeah.
Yeah, or share this.
But why
this
is
monitor
this showing? Hold on. Wait, man. Hold on. Wait. This is horrible.
Yeah.
Now this is horrible.
Okay.
Now we see Sam, but what the hell are we gonna do?
Okay, well then maybe can you go back to the thing with the well maybe kind of move. Okay.
There.
Is that what's happening? That's not what's happening. Oh wait, we'll give it a moment.
Will, yeah. I have to give it a oh, of course, now you're not there. Oh, Sam, I'm so sorry.
It's
all right.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. La. Well, anyway, hello, folks. I'm just going to say a couple of things while we're doing this because this is silly, but it's not the end of the world. We are the HeyDudes. We're doing our interview show with Sam Agro, who you will see in just a few moments. He is a human person. He is within the standard operational deviations of a human person. Let's
try this.
He has hair. And eye augmentation devices on his face.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. We got something.
Hello. Okay.
How's that, Sam?
Yes.
You can see me, but I can no longer see you. I'm seeing Undersea Kingdom.
Oh, okay. Well,
Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll just do it. Okay. I'll just presume you guys look like you look.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to this.
Okay.
Does that work? And you don't show up.
Oh, but yes, he does.
Yeah, but he doesn't show up on stream, and I don't understand why. And then there's the primary watching, but then we have to go to like something blank, and
why don't we go to the weird thing and do that for now?
All right.
That seems to work, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So where was the weird thing where you saw him and you had a thing?
Yeah, but then he couldn't see us because of this craziness.
Okay.
Well, I do. Yeah, but yeah. Okay, we'll go to that.
Anyway, hello, Sam.
Hello. Well, you don't want to have that infinite progression picture for everybody to stare at. They'll all go mad.
Yes, they will. Madder than Mad, Maddie McMad. Well, now I think we're seeing you and us in the Undersea Kingdom in the background, and I guess that's okay for now?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Sorry you can't see us.
I can't see you guys, but that's fine.
Okay.
Weird. Anyways.
Yes, hello. So, Sam is another friend of mine. That seems to be where I'm mostly sourcing sourcing our interviews for the moment. Sam I have known for quite some time. He is an actor, writer, gadabout, gentleman, scholar, and rogue. I have known you for 30-something years, Sam, is that about right?
It's been a long
Or
time. We met at
20.
theaters, I
20
guess,
years.
what, in
Nope.
90?
No, that's 30. Yeah, that's 30. Yeah, 90, 91. So, yeah, about 30 years.
About 30 years, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a long, interesting friendship.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, we were at theater sports together, which is where we initially met, I believe.
Yes, that is
And
correct.
and then later on, of course, we were part of the comedy troupe, Canadian Space Opera Company,
Oh, yes.
and we
That
did
is
several
important.
shows together.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've also done a lot of writing together, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's been a long, productive friendship.
Yes, it has. I was thinking actually back to when we were when you were the artistic director for the theater sports show. Theater sports, for those of you in our audience who, I think I've mentioned it in previous episodes, but it's an improv comedy show along the lines of Whose Line Is It Anyway, but done as a competitive sport. I mean, it's a competitive sport like wrestling is a competitive sport, so.
Right. It's not. You're not really concerned about who, what team wins. It's two teams going head to head, doing. You challenge each other to different types of improv scenes, and each team does the scene, and they're judged, and they do 3 or 4 scenes in a match, and at the end there's a winner and a loser. But it's not. That's really for the benefit of the audience to sort of give them like a team to root for, and we'd also have the judges who are sort of the heavies, the bad guys, and it was a way to sort of give a structure to an improv show, and it's a good way. It's still an effective way to do a show, I think. Although theater sports is not as popular as it once was.
Yeah, it was a whole thing back in the day. We had a lot of fun doing it. There are still people doing it around the world, maybe even in Toronto. I don't know exactly. I remember also we would often go out as a cast afterwards to one of the local restaurants in the neighborhood and often have really strange discussions, often led off by a question from you, like, what is the worst alternate casting you could have for this role? I
Was that me?
That was you. Yeah, I think we were playing that one for a bit. Although we would, like Ernest Borgnine in Rebel Without a Cause, or
Right.
anything of that sort. Although I think at one point you declared the game broken because they cast Tom Cruise as the vampire Lestat.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, still strikes me as one of the most inappropriate pieces of casting in Hollywood history.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think he was right for that role, and actually, what's his name wasn't really even right for the other role
Is that Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. It was just the whole thing was too pouty.
Yes, it was much too pouty, and neither of them, I think, really were able to capitalize on the sort of homosexual undertones of the book.
No,
it just didn't really play.
Yeah.
Despite the rumors about Tom Cruise,
yeah,
he didn't seem to be able to make it happen on screen. So
Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I prefer my vampires more rugged, more hale and hearty and sort of thing.
Well, I'm a big fan of the first 2 books. I think they're actually quite well written books. Now they're gothic, and the prose is very purple, and that's not to everyone's taste by any stretch of the imagination. But I think they're two pretty well written books. I actually think the Vampire Lestat is the better of the 2 books. And then she kind of lost the thread. Anne Rice kind of lost the thread with those, I think, later on. But those first 2 books I think are really great, and it was unfortunate to me that the attempt from Hollywood was, I thought, pretty subpar. But yeah, that kind of broke the game. Alternate casting.
Yes, it did. So that one was left by the wayside. There were many others. I remember a Ribald Night of trying to figure out alternate like euphemisms for female masturbation. We came up with an awful lot of those.
I do remember that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many of those we can. Well, we do say fuck on this channel from time to time. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to ask you guys what's the official what's the official word on
Don't really
swearing? Are we,
well, I mean,
keep it
like,
clean?
well, we're doing this on Twitch. We have a plan to get some stuff on YouTube in the near future. There's some logistics we need to work out with the
Right.
uploading between the two. And YouTube has a policy on swearing.
Mhm.
I think we sometimes label this with mature content,
Right.
and then we can get away with whatever the heck we want.
Well, yeah, not quite. There's a whole
Well, I
host
think
of words we can't
the
say.
whole point of the euphemisms for female masturbation was that they would be usable in and not involve any untoward words
Right.
or phrases. So
I remember.
I do remember a few of them, but I don't know how many I remember. I can think of two off the top of my head.
What are the
we
two?
came up with?
What are the two that you can think of?
Well, the one that I remember is work in the slushy machine.
That one
Oh,
I
God.
remember.
Horrible.
I also remember gag the werewolf.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yes. And wasn't there bearding the clam from you or someone as
Bearding
well?
the clam, yes, I
Yeah.
remember that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely one.
That was a,
There were quite a few though. I wish I could remember more. I should have written some of them down.
that's okay. I also remember that Jen Whalen of Baroness von Sketch was with us for that night, and she also said that there were far more euphemisms for nipple erections, like turkey's
Oh,
done.
really?
Turkey's tongue.
I don't remember a lot of those, but it was a fun night, and it wasn't just guys doing this. I want to make that clear to the audience.
No. Well, I would like to point out that actually my experience of risque topics with the theater sports crowd, I think generally the female contingent was tended to be much more rude than the male contingent.
Yeah.
Some of them are some salty ladies. There's some salty ladies
Yes.
in the theater sports crowd, or at least there were at that time. I don't
Yes.
know what it's like now.
Yes.
Well, I have noticed that many, if not all, women comedians seem to enjoy joking about their genitalia. It seems to be a common trope with a lot of them. Well, they're always talking about their...
Okay, we always talk about our dicks, Dan.
We do?
Yeah, I was going to say
don't.
it's certainly no different
Oh,
for
yeah,
male
okay, I don't
comedians.
Yeah.
I'm just making
they're
a
always
point.
talking
Yeah.
on wangs.
Yep.
I never talk about my massive penis, though.
He doesn't.
No.
He just lets it speak for himself. For itself. Sometimes it up in the middle of the night when you just hear a scream. Yes. So, but a long time knowing you, and you've had a very active career as an artiste, and we've been in this. We've been talking a little about people working from home during the pandemic, but you've been working home since forever.
Well, yeah. I started out after college. I went to Sheridan College in Oakville for animation.
Mm-hmm.
And I graduated from the 3-year classical animation course there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went out to work in the animation business. And for the most part at that time, you worked in studio.
Okay.
You would get up in the morning and you would go to the studio, and everybody had their desks, and you would work together.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any of this great technology at that time, so that was really the only way to do it.
Yeah.
And the exception to that were the storyboard artists.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out as an in-betweener, but it wasn't long before in-betweening was sent overseas to places like Taiwan and Korea. And
North or south?
So I sort of got off the path of being an animator because animation was being moved. They were still doing key animation here, but the in-betweening was being done overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And then later everything was being done overseas.
Yeah.
But so I ended up kind of in what they call the layout department, which is designing the backgrounds that live behind the cartoon actors that are acting out the scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time there, and I moved over to storyboard revision, and then I got into storyboarding. And storyboarding at that time was the one grouping of people working in animation. Actually, two, the writers and the storyboard artists would work from home.
Okay.
So you would come in, you would get your script, you would sit down, you would talk with the director about it. He would sort of give you a general idea of what he was looking for, and you would go home and board it. And then usually he would take a look at it, and you would have to do a pass of changes on the storyboard, and then the storyboard would go to the layout department and the animation department, and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So for many years I was a storyboard artist for animation, and I also started to storyboard for live action as well. And eventually, I kind of got fed up with animation for a while, and I just went full-time storyboarding live action, which was very good for about 10 or 11 years, and then it started to dry up. So
Yeah.
recently, about 4 years ago, well, actually 5 years ago, I got back into animation again, and I went back into the layout department, which they don't really call layout anymore. They call it background now. So,
Okay.
so that's like the short version of my career in animation.
Okay.
Right.
And
actually,
then, of course, like I said, there was that big chunk of time doing live action boards for commercials and TV movies and television series and feature films and so on.
yeah.
And so on.
Well, can we actually? Do you think you could bring up some of the examples of his work here? Just
Sure.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to see these.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully, we will. If we can put it up in place of the.
Okay.
Okay, well, this is some comics here.
Okay. All right.
I also do a lot of comic books, but I haven't ever made much money doing comics. I did work briefly as a writer for DC's Looney Tunes comic book.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I did that for about 4.5 years, but I was making somewhere around maybe $2,500, $3,000 a year doing that.
Yeah.
Because you would write short stories. They would be 4 pages or 6 pages. Maybe you would sneak an 8-pager past them every once in a while.
Yeah.
And so it was really a small part of my income.
Yes.
This is great art, Sam.
But I've also done a lot of what we call independent comics or indie comics.
Okay.
And usually with that, either you don't get paid or you get paid in books. So they give you books, and then you can sell the books and make a little bit of money.
Okay.
But I've always been a huge comic book fan, and there was a time earlier in my life when I wanted to be a professional comic book artist, but I was never able to sort of break into Marvel and DC, which during the 70s and 80s, even into the 90s, was a kind of job that you kind of needed to either move to New York and sort of hang around and get your foot in the door, or you need to be sort of a really brilliant artist. And as good as I am, I'm not. I wouldn't go so far as to say I'm brilliant.
Well,
I'm okay.
I think you're great.
This is some great stuff here. This is Starcraft. What is this from, Sam?
This is from an independent anthology called Horror in the West.
Okay.
And this is a 4-page story. The entire anthology is made up of short comic book stories by different writer-artist teams or writer-artist persons. In this case, I wrote and drew this story.
Yeah.
Which actually came to me in a dream, strangely enough.
That's
and and I did a few anthologies with these same people. I did Horror in the West, and then they also did two anthologies called Monstrosity and Monstrosity 2, which were also basically horror comics.
Okay.
And, so
this is a story about a man and his pet octopus.
It's a story about a man and his alien companion that crashes down
and eats things and stuff.
Eats everything basically.
Okay.
It crashes down in a meteor, and then it eats cattle, and then it gives birth to a whole bunch more. And meanwhile, the guy is sort of basically kind of under the control of this creature.
Yes.
And also somewhere along the line, he basically dies.
Oh.
So he's dead by the end, but he's still physically mobile, and so he takes his brute he takes all his monsters into the market, where they're gonna, of course, eat everybody.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
That's cool.
That's yes.
It's like a Twilight Zone kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
It is. Many of the stories in it are sort of, well, a little more graphic than Twilight Zone, but definitely Twilight Zone-ish.
Yeah. Do you want to maybe go for the Saw stuff now? Do you have that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is some of the. This is more of Sam's storyboard work, and you worked on.
Oops.
Oh, can we do that bigger somehow? Maybe bring that across.
Here.
There we go. So you worked on a couple of the Saw films.
Gotta zoom out that.
Yeah. Maybe.
I worked on 5 Saw films, actually.
Wow. That's a lot of Saw. And,
yeah, it's many Saw.
Yeah. And this is some stuff from Saw 3.
Correct. That was the first one that I worked on.
Yeah.
And so basically here you've got a pool of blood, with drops of blood falling into it. And then if you go to the next one.
Can you go to the next board there? You need to go back to. I think you need to get the next.
Oh, it doesn't let you click through? That's crazy.
Yeah.
What are those up and down arrows? Try those. Anyway, go to that one.
Well, okay, let's try the next one. See how that do that.
Yeah.
There we go.
So here you can see that there's arrows indicating the movement of the camera. So the camera starts on the pool of blood, and then it moves up to the feet, moves up the legs, moves up the body, and we can see these hooks in
I see.
In this woman's solar plexus here.
That's got a sting.
Yeah.
And then okay.
We continue to pan up.
Yeah.
And we see this pool of liquid, this jar of liquid, and a key drops into it, and a little bit of the acid splashes on the woman and wakes her up.
I have not.
So storyboards, basically, what we're doing is we're sorting out what the shots are.
Yeah.
It's a way that directors plan out what they're going to shoot. So and here in this whole sequence, there's no cuts. It's just a moving camera. So the camera starts on the ground and moves up. We see the acid, the key, the splash, and then it pulls back out, and we can sort of see the whole contraption. For those who aren't familiar with Saw, it's all about these traps that people are in.
Yeah.
And if they make certain sacrifices, they are sometimes able to escape, but most of them just end up dying horrible deaths.
Well.
Saw 3 was the first one I worked on, and I ended up working on 4 more after that. It was like basically every winter I had a job working on Saw.
So
for at least a month or 6 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
If I was lucky.
Now, I remember you telling me a bit about this at the time. A lot of these traps, they'd kind of give you a written description of it, and then you'd have to kind of come up with what it looked like.
Well, there would be a written description, but then also the director. The way it usually worked was I would sit down with the director, and I would have pages just like the ones you're looking at, only blank.
Yeah.
And you'd say, so this is what I'm thinking here, or this is how it worked with this particular director. Different directors do things differently, but this guy had a very clear idea of what he wanted, and he would sort of say, okay, so now we're in a close-up, and the camera's panning around to the right, and I would do roughs. I would do roughs on the spot in these blank frames, and show them to him, and he'd go, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, or no, a little bit wider, or a little bit closer, or no, or a bit higher.
Yeah.
And I would, make the corrections, and then I would go home and clean them up and deliver them finished. And then sometimes, this particular director was not. He wasn't the kind to make a lot of changes. His name's Darren Bousman, by the way.
Okay.
Really good horror director. Well, good director in general, not just a horror director, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he had a very clear idea of what he wanted. Other directors, they'll say, "This is kind of the feeling I want to get for this." Go and do a take on it, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at it and we'll bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah.
And lots of guys like to work that way.
Yeah.
Other guys are like, just do a first pass from the script, and then I'll come in and
Mm-hmm.
see what you've got. And,
Yeah.
so for every director, there's a different way of working.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
basically, it's a way for them to plan everything out.
Mm-hmm.
But what's happened lately is that because of digital stock, since
Mhm.
everything is shot digitally now,
Mhm.
they don't worry so much about storyboards on lower budget productions anymore.
Yeah.
Because there was a time that you had to pay for film stock,
Yeah.
so all the film that you shot cost you money,
Yeah.
and then you also had to pay for developing,
Mm-hmm.
and that would cost you money. So producers were always on their directors to sort everything out visually, so they knew what they were going to shoot, particularly in low budget situations,
Yeah.
because you don't want your budget to go up.
Yeah.
But with digital stock now, you can sort of shoot a pile of stuff and then kind of throw it on the poor editors.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of stuck with kind of figuring it out and
Yes.
making it work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I personally, and obviously I'm biased because I was a storyboard artist, but personally I think you don't get ideal results that way. I think you're better off planning it out. But
Yeah. Well, I
it's
think
kind
that,
of how things are done now.
yeah, I think that I don't as often find unless something weirdly enough, unless something is kind of digital all the way through, like a blockbuster or something like that, I don't find as many kind of iconic shots in movies these days, because if they get something, sometimes it's more of an accident.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
But I think it's partly due to the different ways that they shoot.
Yeah.
But I think it's also partly due to, especially when you're talking about a big blockbuster movie, I think it's partly due to a kind of committee approach to creating these things.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 or 3 producers, and you've got a director, and you've got a director of photography, and they're all sort of like kind of coming to a median agreement on what they want to do.
Yeah.
I think some directors have more freedom than others, but I think the process is very committee based now, as opposed to the auteur kind of approach.
Yeah.
And I think that's why everything kind of, especially action movies and special effects movies, they kind of feel the same.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give the impression that they aren't figuring out what they're doing, but rather than traditional storyboarding, these days, if you're doing a big budget picture, they do something called pre-visualization or previs.
Oh yes, yeah.
And it's sort of like 3D backgrounds with drawings superimposed, and I couldn't afford to get those programs, and I never really had much computer training at that time.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
I wasn't able to transition to doing that sort of work.
Yeah, I understand. In some for a while they'd been doing some of that stuff in video game engines, and now video game engines are taking over the whole production. Like The Mandalorian, for example, is shot inside a space called the Volume, which is basically a big LED screen that shows you what's happening in a game engine to show you the backgrounds. So
that's exactly right. Yeah, they're basically generating real time backgrounds in the green screen.
Yeah.
And the actors are walking around in this virtual world.
Yeah.
So,
it can look really good. Like, I mean, and I
haven't seen The Mandalorian, but everybody says it looks great, and they love the show. So I'm hoping I'll get to see it at some point. But
it's some fun. I would recommend it. I got a little stuck in season 2, which I think is that may or may not be the current season. They may have moved on to 3 by now. Like I got kind of like I have this thing where sometimes my brain fills up with modern television. you know, it's just like I can't. Too much going on. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't stick with this at the moment. Do we have any? It
Yeah,
looks
well,
like we have some.
I think we're all going through a little bit of that right now because we're consuming so much media right now because we're stuck at home, right?
Yeah.
So I think we've all had that, that feeling of, overload from watching too much,
or the internet, or
on the small screen. Because we do everything on the small screen. We do our social media, we do our entertainment,
Yes.
we do our emailing, we do everything on the small screen now.
Well, soon we'll have them built into our stomachs. Like the Teletubbies. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they were weirdly
Right.
prescient.
I
look forward to that day.
Yeah.
Not really.
we have a few viewers in chat. If anyone would like to give us a follow, we'd really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying it. Sorry we had some spam earlier in the room.
Oh, okay. So is there anyone currently saying hello?
Sakes, one of our viewers.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah.
Said hello.
So if you wanna go back to the folders there,
sure.
We might do actually some animation drawings up on the screen.
Okay.
Got other stuff here.
There's
Jag.
That's
another comic.
Go to there you go.
Yeah, this is some stuff you're doing background stuff.
Yeah, these are some backgrounds that I worked on. Now, in this particular case here, the design, the top drawing there was the design, and that was by a fellow named Rob Bryson. And then if you scroll down to the second one, that's my cleanup, the hard line cleanup.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that was what I did.
Yeah.
So this is the equivalent of, in comic books, we have the penciler and we have the inker.
Okay.
And
Cool.
in this case, I'm doing a hard black line. And then finally, Martin Smith, the color stylist, and his team came in and colored it. That might be a little too small to see clearly on the screen, but it's a beautiful, beautiful looking background.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And complicated. That was about, between me and Rob in the color department, that was about 4 solid days of hours of work.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Very cool. What is this from, Sam?
This is from a show called Bunsen is a Beast, and it's a show aimed at tween boys, and it's about there's this world where you have sort of the regular world, and then you have the monster world, which is sort of a kind of an adjacent dimension, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
And the cartoon is about the first monster kid to attend a regular human kid school.
Okay.
And so it's about a monster kid and a human kid who are best friends, and they're both kind of nerds, and all this sort of monster land stuff kind of invades the regular world. And Bunsen, who is the monster, his house is sort of, everything in his house is kind of alive, like the piano is kind of alive and the walls are kind of alive, and everything's sort of got a monstery sort of tentacle or eyeball or something coming out of it.
Sakes says they really like the feathers on the dinosaur.
Yeah, it's one of our viewers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that
looks like an early ancestor of the Roadrunner. It looks great.
Yeah, well, that I would credit that to Rob. I didn't have anything to do with thinking of putting it there, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to maybe move on to see if there's another one of these?
For sure.
Yeah, that's
so these are just some designs that I did to try and get work.
Okay.
So these are not for a specific production.
Okay.
Right. Nice.
Yes.
But just sort of, it's just a sort of a way to show my natural approach to cartoons, which is sort of, cartoony, semi-Warner Brothers-ish kind of approach. So I just had this idea for a one-room schoolhouse in some sort of a, turn-of-the-century prairie town or something.
Okay. Well, it looks a little, it reminds me a bit of the old Warner Brothers style, and I half expect this to be a school for witches.
Yeah, well, I guess it could be. That wasn't what I had in mind. I wasn't trying to make it particularly frightening. I just wanted to make it kind of exaggerated and funny.
I get it. I mean, I like it a lot. It just reminded me a little of
Witch
what's her name?
Hazel.
The witch from the
Witch Hazel.
Witch Hazel. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yes, it's very cool.
Yeah, she would be at home here, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the Witch Hazel backgrounds, if you look at those old cartoons, they're super interesting because they would do things like the backgrounds are really creative because they would do things like a table would be drawn on the wall and the feet would go down and onto the floor,
Right.
and other sort of weird kind of interpretive ideas in the backgrounds.
Okay.
If you've never taken a look, this is the Warner Brothers cartoons with the old witch.
Yeah.
Who usually goes up against Bugs Bunny,
Yes.
and she's trying to cook him for dinner,
Yes.
and he keeps outsmarting her, and she's got a broom that and
Yes.
whenever she zips out of the frame, her bobby pins are spinning in the air.
Yes.
You watch one of those cartoons, and a lot of them are on Vimeo or whatever that
Vimeo,
was
I think.
called.
Yeah.
And if you look at the backgrounds, if you pay attention to the backgrounds, they're very almost cubistic
Okay.
in the sense that they just play with perspectives and flattening things out. It's really interesting stuff. This is much more 3D than that.
Oh, it
actually.
is. It's very interesting, and I really love. I think what might have got me in that direction was just the stove, because it is this lovely kind of. It's a very cool design, and it's got a kind of a. I don't know if I'm using this right, but the word I want is Brobdingnagian scale. Or
I think
Brobdingnagian.
it's just meant to be in the foreground, but yeah.
That's just me.
If you pay attention to the perspective grid on the ground, it's actually not that big by comparison to the
I know.
table
It's just
and
there's a forced perspective thing that's doing something to my head. I don't know. I would go to school there, and probably sit by the window and. Oh, here we go.
Oh, I love tiki heads. They're cool.
Oh yes.
Sorry if it's a little blurry, but
another. I had some more production art, but I guess this is all you brought through. But
yeah,
this is sort of me. Again, this is for my portfolio, so it's not from any specific production.
Yeah.
But it's basically the sort of thinking process that I went through to get to the final drawing. So this is what we would do. We would do thumbnails and sort of play around with the idea, and then we would pick one.
cool.
And there's none that are exactly like the final design here.
Yeah.
But we experiment, we play around, and we pick one that we think tells the story best and presents the scene best.
Yeah.
So again, this is still a rough design, but it's a lot of fun. I've always wanted to do. I've never had an opportunity to do this professionally, but I've always wanted to do some kind of a tiki themed cartoon. It would be super fun.
Have to use that for a background, maybe, if Sam would let us.
Sure. I can use that one if we can get it up there.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we could probably manage something. Okay.
Is it a lot of fun, especially to draw tiki heads, though? Like, it has to be
I had a great time drawing the tiki heads.
Yeah.
The thing is, what I do myself for my portfolio is not necessarily going to reflect the realities of working at a job. Most of the shows that I get to work on, the design sensibility and the content and the quality often are not particularly appealing, which is kind of why I got out of animation in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I had worked for close to 20 years in animation without working on anything that I really thought was a quality show.
Yeah.
And I sort of got fed up with that and some other aspects of the industry, and live action boarding was paying me a lot at that time. So I was able to just leave animation completely for over a decade. But unfortunately, as I said, the storyboarding for live action kind of dried up. And I ended up going back into do backgrounds, mostly cleanup, although I did do quite a bit of design as well.
Well, that's cool.
Right.
And it's actually been better. I think the industry has changed again since I left. and I think it's better now. It's certainly not ideal, but you're a journeyman. You sign on to whatever the show is, and you try to, and drawing for a living is still, better than most jobs out there. I mean, I'd rather draw for a living than dig a ditch or these days work in a supermarket.
Yeah.
But you very rarely get to work on something that you actually like, that you go, this is a really fun show, I'm gonna have a good time doing this.
Yeah.
For the most part, you're like, well, this is all right, and I'll be making money. So
yeah. Well, I've known. I remember many times over the years you having personal projects that like I no longer have a copy of it, but you wrote this great story called, I believe, Nick.
Oh yeah, Nick. Yeah.
This was. Can you maybe describe that to Dan? Because
sure, yeah.
Sure. So Nick was basically sort of, if you want to put it in sort of a commercial context, it was a tell-all book written by an elf about his time working with Santa Claus.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like the dark underbelly of what it's like to be an elf at the North Pole.
Right.
And
like
basically, my premise for the story was that Santa Claus, who Saint Nick in this case goes by the name of Nick, has been basically alive for centuries, and he's just sick of being alive.
Yeah.
Sick of taking toys to kids, and he's basically functionally insane.
Yeah.
And he's still magical in his own way, but he's just batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think what was the most interesting thing was writing a sex scene with Santa Claus, which
God.
I don't think anybody's ever really done.
Ho
Not the
ho
way I did
ho!
it.
Yeah.
Ho ho ho!
Yes,
Anyway,
I remember good chunks of that. Like at the very beginning of the thing, when our narrator meets him,
hey, Aaron Picard, 74.
I remember there being Santa Claus is reviewing the new elves, and he comes and he stops in front of him and he says, "I'm gonna live forever, kid. You know how long that is? A long fucking time." Is that about right, Sam?
That's very close. I wouldn't be surprised if that's an actual quote. Yeah, it's been a while since I read the story myself. So, I wrote that, I don't know, the late 80s or something.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yes, it was a fine book, and if a copy survives, it should be shared with the world, I think.
Okay, I still have a couple copies around. It's not long. It's not even novella length. It's more of a longish short story.
Yes.
Really.
I remember you had printed out a bunch and given them out as Christmas cards one year, and I cherished
exactly
it for a long
right.
time. Is this another? Oh, this is another storyboard that we got here.
This was a storyboard. This was a spec storyboard, and it was basically it was a vampire story.
Okay.
And most of the action takes place on a big passenger plane.
Okay.
So, and I honestly don't know if this movie ever got made. These boards were sort of as part of the pitch to investors.
Yeah.
They were trying to raise money to make this movie. So this is just a few pages, and there's this kid on the flight, and he's kind of figured out that something fishy is going on, and this is the scene where he sneaks down into the hold of the ship and finds these coffins.
Right.
Yeah.
And decides to check them out.
Here, just gonna... There we go. Oh.
And he finds the sleeping vampire, and he's gonna try and stake him with this walking stick that he's sharpened to a point.
I see now.
It's Jay Leno. No, sorry.
So you can see. Okay, never mind.
Oh, sorry. You want to go back to that one?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that this is just sort of how we just sort of use arrows and frames to kind of show what the shot is, what the
Right.
camera is doing, and what the characters are doing inside. So here we see there's a door opening behind him in the coffin, and we push into that door just as he's about to, he's raising the. So now we cut, and we see him raising the stake above the vampire.
Here's the next one. Okay, there.
And the guys coming through the door make a warn the master, and he wakes up.
Yes.
Monster.
Monster. Yes.
Freaks out. It's cool.
Yes.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
he tries to stake him in that last second, but the guy's awake now, and he grabs the stake before it can get him,
Hate when that happens.
and sends the kid tumbling.
Yes.
I'm
That's on the
boned.
next page, I guess.
Kid. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and then the kid.
Yeah,
So
so he
is the
pushes the
kid.
kid away, and then I think we have the classic Nosferatu like rising up out of the coffin shot.
Right.
Yeah. Like he's on some kind of pivot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He looks pissed.
Yep.
he's not happy.
Yeah.
And
Oh, cool.
yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, this was actually a fun board to do. They wanted it to look, quite a little bit more finished. A lot of directors are just like, I just need rough sketches. It doesn't have to be too detailed. But in this case, because it was sort of part of selling the show, selling this concept of this movie,
Yeah.
they wanted it to look a little bit more finished, a little prettier. So that's always more fun for me to do a slightly more finished drawing. Not that these are not sort of comic book level finish, but they're somewhere in between what I normally would do and what I did in this case.
Cool.
So it was a fun project, but as I said, I don't know if they ever got their money to make their. I don't remember it ever coming out. Let's look at it. Let's put it that way.
I find these indicators really interesting. Heads turn.
Yeah.
You know,
Just kind
react, stands up. It's like
it's just so everybody can understand what the movement happening inside the frame is.
right.
So if it's a solid arrow, it's a movement of a person. If it's an open arrow, it's a movement of the camera.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yes.
Let's look at.
Is there?
This is a favorite of mine. Superheroes.
Oh yes. Oh, here's some of your.
Yeah, this is beautiful, Sam. My God.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll have to write a comic so you can draw it and we can make lots of money.
Oh yeah, because that's where the big money is in comics.
Yes, that's the future.
Well,
Everybody knows this.
Some people, are putting out weekly web comics and they're making really good money through Patreon.
Yeah.
So
yeah, some people have managed to monetize their web comics. It's still really hard though. You really have to keep it coming consistently. Like if it's every week or every 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
That new installment has to be there, or people lose interest and they drift off.
Yeah.
So it's a super demanding job. It's sort of akin to what it used to be in newspapers, because you had to do a certain number of strips every week, and sometimes even a Sunday strip. Some strips were only Sunday strips, like Prince Valiant.
right.
Was originally just a Sunday strip, so it was a big color strip. It was a full page. When it was in its heyday, it was a full page. And so Hal Foster only had to do one a week.
Yeah.
But most of them were a daily strip.
Yeah.
Some were a daily and didn't have a Sunday. Some were Sunday and didn't have a daily, and some had both.
Yeah.
And in some cases, the person doing the daily, the people doing the daily, and the people doing the Sunday would be two different teams.
Yeah.
But it was a similar kind of job, because you had to get out all those strips every week. They had to be produced.
Yeah.
Doing a web comic is sort of the same kind of thing. And it's hard. It's not easy to monetize it.
Yeah.
But some people are managing to do it now.
It can take years to build an audience for a webcomic too, I've heard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, if you start now, maybe 4 years down the road, you might be able to, have the money coming in.
Yeah.
But you still got to do it regularly in the meantime when you're not making money. So
Right.
Yeah.
it's not for everybody, that kind of lifestyle.
No, but it's for some. We got another one here. Oh, this is
cute.
this is the Avengers,
Marvel.
or just a
Just
whole.
just a whole crap load of Marvel heroes.
Okay. Yes. I
This
recognize.
was just a convention sketch that I did before a comic convention, and took it with me and tried to sell it, and did indeed sell it. Somebody actually bought that
Oh,
one.
cool.
Hmm.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's just pencils only.
Yeah. Awesome. And
Oh, this is cute. Swamp Thing and Batman.
Yeah.
yeah, Swamp Bat and Thing Man.
You know, as a interesting aside, the character of John Constantine was originally introduced in a Swamp Thing comic by Alan Moore.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
You are right on that one.
I'm a fan
Yeah.
of John Constantine and Hellblazer.
Yeah, well, Hellblazer, was a sort of a spin-off from Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
That was much later on. This particular drawing is more of an homage to an artist named Bernie Wrightson,
Oh yeah.
Who-
Yeah.
who was the artist who originated the Swamp Thing. Originally, it was
Okay.
a short story in House
Okay.
of Secrets comic
Okay.
book,
Okay.
but then they gave him his own title,
Yeah.
and it was it was a bi-monthly, so it was only 6 times a year.
Yes.
And Bernie Wrightson penciled it and inked it, which was pretty rare at the time. Not too many people were doing that. And it was usually you would have one penciler and then somebody else would do the inking,
Mhm.
so that they could. That's how you got it to be monthly.
Right.
Yeah.
But because he was drawing it and inking it
Huh.
both,
God.
it was only every other month.
Okay.
And in one particular issue, he goes to Gotham City and he has a run-in with Batman.
Okay.
And that is one of my favorite comics of all time.
Hmm.
And so here I've sort of imagined I'm drawing in sort of a Bernie Wrightson-esque style here.
It's great.
And I'm
It's
sort of
awesome.
imagining that Batman is now going to the swamp to encounter the Swamp Thing there. So
I see. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yes.
I love the work here. Like the Swamp Thing is basically almost encompassing Batman. You see the foot, but
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
and
Very
plants
cool.
shooting out and
That's awesome.
scary. I wouldn't want to be Batman just at that moment.
Okay. But otherwise, you'd want to be Batman.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Here's one of my favorite characters, is Zatanna,
Yeah.
who is actually the daughter of Zatara the magician.
that's right.
Who is from the Golden Age. He was sort of a rip-off of Mandrake the magician, unfortunately. But
Well, there's a lot of ripping off goes on in comics.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I had no idea, Dan, that you were such a comics nerd. You know.
Oh, yeah.
comic stuff.
Well, I'm a big, huge Superman fan, but
Yeah.
I'm particularly interested in the Golden Age Superman. So I started reading a whole bunch of Golden Age comics and
Yeah.
stuff, and I just really got into it.
Yeah.
And so I could talk about that for hours.
Yes.
It's fascinating.
He could, and he will.
No.
Yeah. Actually, the whole story of the creators of Superman, how they got ripped off, is just, oh my God!
Yeah.
They were originally, Siegel and Schuster were originally paid $130
Yeah.
for the rights to Superman.
There you go.
It's like, and then like he's essentially a multi-billionaire industry
Yeah.
since then,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
anyways, it's,
Okay. That's cool.
Well, there's no shortage creatives being ripped off in the
Oh, yeah.
comic book business,
What?
and the animation business, and
Yeah.
the movie business,
Mm-hmm.
and the music business.
I know.
Yeah.
So
And the street busker business.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the,
Oh, yeah.
And the
those guys would be so wealthy if it wasn't for the
Yeah. Oh boy. Ooh. This is
I love the art on this one. The
the Jaguar.
Yeah.
Lair of the Jaguar Demon. Yeah. This one I quite like. I wish you'd had more of it. What you sent us, Sam, because it's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fairly long story, so I didn't send you every page.
That's
but,
okay.
No worries.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't have to go through every piece of my artwork.
No.
I think people get the idea.
I think they do, and we might.
We've seen the comics, and we've seen the storyboards, and we've seen the animations. I think
Yeah.
we've covered it.
Yeah.
Ooh, lots of guns though. That's cool.
Yay, guns. Okay.
The guns.
Oh, this
Oh,
is,
yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a
That
cool
was one of the
creature.
stories. I mentioned the monstrosity books a while
Yes.
back. And this was one of the stories I did for the monstrosity books.
Looks like my
And,
ex-wife.
I did this one because those books were what they called digest size, so they were quite
Okay.
small.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So I decided to work in a somewhat more graphic, bold style.
Okay.
So that it would shrink down better.
Well, it looks good.
And
Yeah.
well, this is from an entirely different story for an
Okay.
entirely different magazine.
Okay.
But
Uh,
yeah.
There's a character I think from Spanish cinema called Coffin Joe. The guy in the top hat reminds me of him. Actually, it's fascinating. But I love the drawing of the demon here. My God, that's
Oh, thank you.
awesome.
yeah.
That is
Well,
awesome.
that guy up in the corner now, I don't know if you're old enough, Dan, to remember Warren Publishing, Eerie and Creepy and
Of
Vampire.
course. Oh yeah. Oh, I read them. Believe me, I read them. They
Okay,
scared me,
so-
and yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So this story was done for a book called Bloke's Terrible Tomb of Terror,
Okay.
which is a magazine which was a sort of an homage magazine to the 60s and 70s Warren Publishing comics. So they were sort of horror stories with twist endings, and they had there was Uncle Creepy and Cousin Eerie, and they were sort of the hosts
Okay.
of the comic book and told you the stories.
Ah.
So this guy, the bloke, decides that he's going to publish this, homage comic, and he makes himself the host.
Nice.
Okay.
And so he would sell this primarily at comic book conventions, and he would go to the convention dressed in his,
Oh, that's cool.
top hat and cane and
Right.
Cool.
his cool long, jacket,
Yeah.
Victorian jacket, and he would be the bloke, and he would be selling his magazine, hosted by the bloke.
Okay.
And he would and when people would buy the comic, he would take pictures with them, and then in
Okay.
the next issue of the comic, he would publish the pictures.
Oh, cool.
That
And,
is cool.
He was doing quite well with the book. I think he did 15 or 16 issues.
Wow.
Wow.
And then unfortunately, he had a very, very difficult year where he lost his mom and his dad both passed in the same year,
Oh.
Yeah.
and he had some health issues as well. And he just said, I don't have the energy for it. I just want to do my work and spend time with my family.
Yeah.
So he kind of opted out, but he was a great guy to work with. He wrote a lot of the stories himself, and he had lots of great artists drawing them for him.
That's awesome.
And I really miss working with him. He was a great guy.
Okay. Cool. Well.
That's
He's
awesome.
still a great guy,
Yeah.
and I'm still friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah,
but
but
Okay.
you're not doing this so
he's
much
not
anymore.
He's not doing
Yeah.
the book anymore.
Okay.
Did you ink this too? Like everything?
I did. I did every single thing on this.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wrote the story, I penciled it, I inked it, and I did the lettering.
Awesome.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
the lettering was done digitally.
Really?
but,
Okay. Okay.
Everything else is done old school on
Yeah.
paper
Well,
by hand.
Yes.
I think all lettering now is done digitally.
Yeah. Probably.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's just so much faster and easier.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I have been very much enjoying this, and there's a lot of really cool stuff here. But are you pressed for time at all, Sam? Because we've also got.
No, I'm good, man.
Okay.
What time is it?
How are we doing on time now, Dan?
It's 5 to 9.
Okay. So at some point, we do also have a little undersea kingdom thing to get to. And I do want to get to that, but I mean, I've been very much enjoying this conversation, Sam.
Thanks.
And actually, one of our big projects together was the Canadian Space Opera Company, which was a Nike, who was on before, was also a member of that troupe. We did. We started off doing a serial live on stage because we all had kind of a love for that kind of
That's right. Yeah.
old school stuff and over the top bombast. We also did a lot of radio plays as well because they were easier to put together than doing a serial every week. But yes, this is so. Do you feel like maybe watching some serial with us,
Sure.
Sam? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Alrighty.
Do it.
Sweet.
Okay. So this is the Undersea Kingdom.
Now it's interesting to note that Crash Corian
Yes.
was originally a comic strip, a newspaper comic strip.
Oh wow.
Really?
Okay.
But you know,
That's
it's a Flash Gordon rip off, which is actually a Buck Rogers rip off.
Yes.
Like I said, they were all ripping each other off.
Yeah.
There's no shame whatsoever. Actually, Crash was quite different.
Yeah.
From,
Well, he was also a stuntman at some point, wasn't he? The actual actor. I had heard that he was.
that I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
I can't tell you for sure on that.
Yeah. I think actually Nike looked that up, and apparently he had been a stunt performer, which is why he does a lot of his own things with the swinging and the. Did a lot of monkey work apparently. That was the thing she told me. Like.
He was a monkey suit guy. I didn't know that about him. I didn't know that he was.
Revenge of the Volkites.
Yes. Ooh. There's Volkites and they're getting revenge.
Oh, Unga Khan.
Yeah.
Oh, he always looks constipated.
He really does. Yeah.
Just trying to take a fierce dump there.
Just conquer the world and destroy it.
Sharad, High Priest of Atlantis, who mistakenly ordered Crash to his death in the arena.
It was a mistake.
Oh, what a crazy mix-up. Oops,
Yeah.
sorry.
Professor Norton, skilled scientist, whose mind was taken away, destroyed on order from Unga Khan.
Oh no. His mind has been destroyed. Then how are they going to get the submarine?
Should I do the Midwest accent?
Sure.
Mid-Atlantic, it's called?
Yeah.
Diana, energetic newspaper girl who fought to save Norton from the... Billy, the professor's son, who cheered his idol, Crash Corrigan, to victory over the gladiators. Whoop.
But we lose.
Sam, come back to us. There's Crash.
Yeah. Okay. I still. Oh.
Sam.
Let's pause this for a moment and see if we can find Sam.
Are you there, Sam?
That connection cut out there for a second.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm back.
Yay.
Oh, there we
I'm
go.
back.
Oh, he's had another insult.
The people decide your fate.
And now the people decide.
Did Billy get older?
Yes. In that one scene.
Yeah, you have to remember, this is under a dome in Atlantis.
Yes. So this is all underwater except, you know.
Ooh, that's kind of hot.
Yes.
This is much like Interview with the Vampire. It's a little homoerotic.
Yes, there's a lot of bare-chested men wrestling. That seems to be a theme. Oh,
Whoa, that's a good tackle.
Oh no! Is he being dragged? Yes.
Like his skin wouldn't be flayed off in a microsecond.
Yeah. Yeah. Get that guy's bathing cap. Oh, I see. They were kidnapping the priest fella.
A young Charlton Heston is pissed.
Yes.
Chef Boyardee is like, what the hell's going on?
Oh,
here?
no.
Oh no! How many? Do they
Oh,
need more horses for that?
Yes.
That's like a 4 horsepower thing.
Yep. At least 4.
Those aren't the smartest horses either.
Well, they're seahorses, so.
Look,
No!
oh, we're gonna have a horse-on-horse natality here.
Yes.
Get it? Natality.
Natality. So, we're talking about.
Oh, those hats! God, I love those 3-prong hats.
You should get 3-pronged hats. Yep.
Where exactly is the light source for this? If they're under the ocean and it's a dome, wouldn't it be dark?
Fluorescence, Sam.
Lots of
Oh.
lots of glowing fish or
Yeah, that's it.
sunfish.
They got sunfish
Sunfish.
all over the ceiling.
A lot of glowing fish
Yep.
just hanging out on the dome.
Oh no! Oh,
Wait for me! Quick! Get in the car. Don't ask any questions.
yes.
You know, half of these episodes are just horse chases.
Eat, bump, live.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go. Run, run, run.
It's an amazing number of horses that they have in the Undersea Kingdom.
Save Chef Boyardee.
I mean,
Well, my question is, did they have to outfit the horses with aqua lungs to get them down?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Well, plus how much of the Undersea Kingdom is devoted to horse grazing? Like the logistics of this from a crop management perspective.
There would be limited grasslands for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
That wasn't nice. That was just,
yeah.
that was just rude. Oh, what?
Why
the
didn't
hell?
just let them come in and start
What are
hitting
you
people?
doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is just chaos.
It's like they didn't even plan this fight.
Just doing a hit and run, like just ride back at somebody and then ride away.
Yep.
Whoa, gee, god damn. The horse
Here we
almost.
go.
Yep.
Safety at last.
You think they're speeding up the film now? Look, there's Billy.
He was saved you. He saved me from the enemy.
Wait, did they just go back to where they left from?
Yes.
Looks like he's going for a swim.
Except that. Yeah, I think that guy's an enemy spy. A naked enemy spy.
Oh, look, more horses.
They avoid detection by being semi-naked. Nobody suspects the naked people of being spies.
Exactly.
What the hell are you doing?
Oh, maybe this is a good guy. Oh, I
Quick.
see. Okay.
Grab onto.
Sure. Grab onto his naked. Just grab
Oh
on
my
any
god,
place.
he just jammed his crotch in his face.
I think he just used his used his thing as a grapple hold.
Grab onto my belt, Ace.
If Interview with the Vampire had this kind of erotic tension, it would have been a much more successful movie.
I think so. I absolutely think so.
Oh god, I love that. I love that hat.
I love that. I love his belt.
Captain
Was that a
Hacker.
robot I saw there for a second?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have
One of the members of Daft Punk.
yeah.
Contact him there.
Round the world,
Around
the world.
Does
This
he have a
looks.
brain the size of a planet?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think they're early model Cybermen.
This marital aid will sweep the market.
No, you don't realize what you are doing. If Uncle Khan succeeds in taking this
Uncle
power of the
Khan.
jungle world, with all its
Uncle
equipment,
Khan.
he will destroy the civilization.
That's exactly what I intend to do.
Ha ha ha.
Busted.
Yeah.
I still think he looks like John Wayne from The Conqueror.
You know just
He's radioactive.
Yep.
You've destroyed his mind. Made a different
That's where John Wayne played Genghis Khan, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
My Mongol blood runs hot for you, woman. Yow.
What a brilliant piece of casting that was.
Yeah.
That would have stopped our game as well, I think.
Very much so.
Who's the worst person to cast as Genghis Khan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they shot it on a radioactive set. So
Nice.
it's pretty
Oh,
wild.
really?
Yeah. That's a whole story.
Yeah.
Because of interference by the lieutenant from
Look that one up.
I still want that hat.
There is a lot of outstanding headgear in this.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that in the previous episode. You're very correct, sir.
That's, yes, very much. The swimmer's salute.
Yeah.
You know, I'm about to dive.
As long as they don't do that other salute.
Oh, they were doing a one-arm salute for a bit. And that was a bit much. Yeah.
This was shot before America got involved in the war.
Yeah,
so.
it's 36, so Hitler was still cool.
Yeah, Scott. Oh, we got an email from Twitch.
Okay, yes.
Oh, look, it's the new Tesla truck.
Here we go.
Spiritual ruler of Atlantis, I thank you.
Atlantis. They can really get down there.
Your mighty deeds of today have entirely erased all resentment.
What?
That's easy. He's gonna offend him in this
You
handshake,
have
isn't
not
he?
rescued me from the soldiers of Hunger Khan.
Look at those shorts.
Yes.
To surrender the city.
Are those sequins?
Pain and
Those are sequins.
Yes. Yeah.
in recognition
I think it's meant-
Space
I think it's meant to
under
be-
sequence.
They're
I think it's
sequins.
meant to be scale mail.
Yes.
Yeah, scale mail.
You know what I mean?
Made out of fish.
Yes.
Commander of the Army?
Oh,
Oh boy, oh boy.
I don't pretend to deserve the honor.
shut up, Billy.
But since it's a challenge to my loyalty,
Could you put some clothes on?
I'm set.
No, I don't think he
Why
can. I
was
think.
that?
I can see his bulge.
Give him the
Yes.
insignia of
I suspect that helmet is going to go on in a second, though.
Yep. Oh, here we go.
He's got very taut buttocks, though. I gotta
Yes.
say. What the hell is that?
Yep.
Is he Rocket Man?
More,
Yes.
more thrilling headgear.
Yes.
Wow.
That is.
Take two. All right.
That's
This
the
is
best.
my
helmet.
kind of ensemble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now take the Boy Scout motto.
Repeat after me.
Me. All
Hard
right.
head. What is it? Hard head home.
The hell?
Oh,
No,
my heart
don't do that. Yeah.
from
no.
my head to you, Gamora.
Yeah.
You can't see me doing that. I don't know if they can actually. This is a salute that we had for the Canadian Space Opera Company.
He looks like an agitated cockatiel.
Yes. He really does.
That's
His hackles
how.
are up.
Yes.
Put some shirts on. What is this?
What a fool you are, Moloch.
What a
You had
fool.
a chance to escape. You threw it away. They don't that stranger.
Well, it's good that they always have their swim caps on.
I know.
Yeah. Outside the dome.
Well, the dome could break at any time, and they're wearing
Well-
really weirdly tight swim trunks.
Male synchronized swimmers don't get any understanding. Really.
No.
Yeah.
Mail call.
They don't get the respect they deserve.
Yeah.
That's true.
By order of His Holiness Shabbat, High Priest of Atlantis, you, Moloch, are herewith given your freedom.
Nice one, Sakes. Yeah.
There's your answer.
Uh-huh.
Ooh,
So the
he
bad
touched his
guy,
shoulder.
by helping him, got his freedom. Ooh. And the other guy has to just hang around and look like a hunky, sad swimmer.
What
Oh.
fresh hell is this now?
Oh.
Yep.
Ow.
Clang,
Ow.
clang, 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 clang.
Ow, my
Slices,
helmet.
it dices, it makes julienne fries.
Yeah. Hey, I lost an ear back there. What
How
did
does
he
he
do?
already know how to march with him like that?
Mr. Company.
Then they run away.
There's
Oh
men.
boy! Let's go get coffee and sponge cake.
Time.
Yes.
Let's take the
Okay.
horses
Cabbage
swimming.
rolls and coffee are being
Yeah.
served.
Cabbage rolls and coffee. Yes.
Mmm. That's a future bakery meal.
You know, I'm sure that they shot this cereal with stuff from about 18 other cereals. You know, like props from a whole bunch of others, and they just they had a quota to fill or something.
Yeah. I was thinking they probably booked the horses for the summer, so they had to use
Yeah.
them or they'd lose the deposit.
It's like, yeah.
They would have used them probably in a western and in an adventure one. And
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing a western that had an undersea world of aliens. Not undersea, underground world. Like there's just tunnels that opened up, and then he was on horses battling people in the future.
Cool.
Yeah.
What are they doing now?
a cannon.
I think so.
Those guys are just running back and forth. They're not.
Did I see a guy with enormous pliers just now?
I'll ply them good.
Yes. Here they come.
Whoa, it's getting a bit close there, buddy. Is that Bob Hope?
Yes. No.
Hey, so horses are coming there.
You're off on the road to Morocco.
I'll play Bubba Bing.
The Bob Hope Crash Corrigan team up didn't work out nearly as well as the Big Crosby Bob Hope.
No, different class. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, you're gonna poke someone's eye out with that.
He's got one arrow. That's enough to take that out.
Yeah. It's a nuclear arrow.
Yeah. That's a lot of. Do people even chariot anymore?
I don't think it's a thing much.
Yeah, there's a lot of charioting going on in these old movies, and I haven't seen.
Oh, there goes the Tesla truck.
Yep.
Now, how does that thing drive in the forest?
I think it's got a bunch of guys inside, like Ella Flintstones.
Yeah.
A lot of feet carrying it over all the obstacles.
Exactly.
There's that Hannah one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what are you gonna do with the magic belt?
Where's the remote?
He's got the remote. He's got a remote on his belt, and then there you go. See?
Oh, yeah. That is horrible.
Oh, look out!
They shot a vibrator at us.
I thought it was more of a suppository,
You
but
want to destroy all of us?
yes.
Sure, why not?
You realize that the
Well,
jobs
if you're going to have a suppository, it might as well be vibrating.
Yes, Samuel, you are correct, sir. Oh, now what are they doing?
I don't know anymore.
We have to pry something.
It's like a fever dream.
Quickly, to the pry bars.
There's really an enormous amount of action without any real sense of
Anything really happening.
Yeah, okay. Oh, now we got bows going. Oh no.
oh.
Right in the bread basket.
Didn't you do that before? I think they had that exact same stuff in the previous episode.
Oh no, they're assaulting us with ladders.
The worst siege ever.
The hell is that?
Oh!
Is that like a Fred Flintstone
shot with
catapult?
that catapult.
Yeah.
I guess all the prying got the catapult working.
That must be it. They pried the catapult together. Yep.
I swear I've seen that
Now
building
it's night.
before.
How did it get night all of a sudden?
Whee!
Wasn't it day like 2 seconds ago?
Yeah, I think they.
Is there a process all
Well-
like this?
Well, maybe there's like a curfew on the lights.
The sun sets quickly on
You
it.
know, like
They just-
someone got a clock there. It's just
Somebody spooked the sunfish. Somebody spooked the sunfish they took
Yeah.
off.
Yes, that's it. And they're all hiding now.
yeah, that's
Yes.
effective.
Yes.
Let's burn them.
Yes.
Burn them all, Billy.
Yes. More ladders. How many ladders do they have? Burn the ladders.
I think Billy turns out to be a fire starter.
That's probably it. He's the Drew Barrymore of this.
He's the Drew Barrymore of the Undersea Kingdom.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, this is just like Saturday night in Hull, Quebec.
Yeah. Really. Yeah.
Aquaman, save us.
Yes. That hat though.
No one can defeat me in this helmet.
Yeah.
I am God of Cockatiel.
Yes. Can he do that dance? That cockatiel dance?
Must.
Wee.
So much for your ladder technology.
Oh, ladder fight.
Ladder fight.
Ladder fight.
Oh no.
Oh, crash. Oh.
Oh, he's gonna get run over by horses. It's a lot of horses.
Now he's Crush Corrigan.
Ta-da.
I smell a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it, man.
God help us all.
That's
There you go. You can play My Favorite Brunette with Bob Hope. There you go.
there we go.
No,
this is the
stop
next
it.
one. Gotta stop it.
Yeah.
Before we
Yeah.
watch too
Stop
much.
it.
Yes. Okay.
That can only be handled in small amounts.
I know. Too much at one time, and then you just get overcrashed.
Yeah.
It gets too oily. Sam, a really great time talking to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for
Always-
sharing your
Always
wonderful
fun
art with
talking
us.
to you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. We'll have you again sometime. Sorry about the technical problems, but
Yeah.
No worries.
you know,
No worries. It all
we're still
worked out
working that
fine.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I asked you before if you had anything to plug. Do you? I know that you've done some charity events and stuff like that. Like what's that? Sketchomania.
An acquaintance of mine from the comic book circuit does something called Sketchomania,
Okay.
and you can find out about this on. You can go to. You can go to a Facebook page called. And now my old man brain is going to struggle to remember this. I may have to get you this information and let you post it.
Sure.
Okay. Well, we'll post it. We'll post it in the in the.
Might occur to me in a second. But what the guy's name is Martin, and what he does is he puts together these live drawing sessions with various local artists, comic book artists mostly, and they all get together on a Zoom, and he broadcasts it, and they all do a drawing based on a theme, and all the drawings go up for auction. And all the money raised from the auction goes to various different charities.
Awesome.
And he's raised about $30,000 so far doing this. It's been mostly during the pandemic.
Right.
And I will get you the name of the page, which has flown from my mind.
Okay.
But you can follow that page, and he'll put updates as to when another Sketchomania is coming up. With that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think if I recall, it's Sketch SKETCHLE Mania. Is that right?
Yeah, but that's not the name of the page, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
His name on Facebook is Martin Slam Duncan.
Okay.
And he's got a podcast page, the name of which I can't recall.
Okay.
And it's from there that he launches all his Sketchomania nights. So I will have to get that for you because I cannot think of it.
Oh yeah, sure. Sure, we'll be glad to post it.
If you could give me the screen back, I could probably find out.
Okay.
The screen back? What do you mean?
No, never mind.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta go on Facebook and
that's
see if I can find it.
That's okay. Well, we can certainly post. If you think you can do it in a minute or two, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Sam. Or
I think I can get it for you.
We'll just fill time. Yeah. A lot of fun talking to you about all this stuff. Really great art you've done there, Sam, and I've enjoyed working with you on so many different occasions.
We've had a lot of fun working together. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something I hope we're going to be able to do again once the world gets back to some sort of sense of normalcy.
Well, yes, and I'm looking forward to that too. We're planning on doing more interviews and more stuff on this page, on this show. So we'll definitely want you back for things. I've got a few creative, fun ideas, some of which I've discussed with you,
Well, I'm looking forward to coming back for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And whatever you guys are up to, I'd love to be involved.
Absolutely.
So,
sure. Yeah. And
that sounds great. And of course, for some reason, everything on Facebook is moving horribly slowly. I don't know why.
That's okay, Sam. Just send us
I'll get you
the links
info,
later.
I'll get you the info, and you can post it in the credits.
On our
Anyway,
Facebook.
with that same gentleman, I'm also doing another project, which is called Dracula Visions.
Ooh.
No.
And it is a magazine format book of illustrations by various different comic book people and other fine art people as well. And it's all scenes, full-page scenes from the Dracula story with accompanying excerpts from the text.
Okay.
sort of covering the entire story of Dracula.
So like,
And that's not going to be out for quite some time yet because everybody's still working on it.
okay.
But there will be a fundraiser for that, and when that comes around, I'll be posting it on my page, and maybe you guys can post it on yours as
Oh,
well.
absolutely. Yeah,
Definitely.
we definitely will. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much for being on the show, Sam. Thank you.
My pleasure,
It's
guys.
awesome to have you on and sharing your art and your talent, your creativity. You're a very creative man.
Yes.
Well, thank you. You guys are pretty creative too. I like what you're doing here. Keep it up.
Thanks so
Okay.
much. Yeah, we'll talk soon, man. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. We ping it. And yes. And thank
There
you
we go.
all, our viewing public, for joining us. Has anyone said anything to us in the chat?
Yeah, we've had a few people
Good.
here and there,
Yeah,
sort of.
good.
Whoops, we did it again.
Yeah,
There we go.
we're not that instant. So yes, thanks so much for coming out. Have a lovely lovely time.
And we'll have those links on our Facebook later,
yes.
Sims.
And this show was meant to be last Thursday, but things went crazy. So we'll be back on Thursday this week with
Okay.
another artist.
All right.
Yes. So yes.
All right, awesome. Sounds great. All right, everyone, you have an awesome night. Thank you again
Yep.
for stopping by. We love our audience. And again, may your God or your gods go with you.
And just because you wear it on your hat doesn't mean it'll. I don't know.
I don't know. There you
No,
go.
no.
Perfect. Great ending. Great ending to a great show. Okay. All right. Cheers. Much love. Bye.